1977 was a historic year for video games. The arcades were heating up. Seawolf, Sprint 2, and Breakout were the top three games of the year at the arcades. The first electronic boutiques opened up in Pennsylvania. The first Chuck E. Cheese opened its greasy doors, and legendary computers like the Apple II, the TRS-80, and the Commodore PET were released. But all eyes were on the new home console market. At least 7 home video game consoles were sold for the first time in 1977. Among them were the RCA Studio 2, several Coleco Telstar systems, Bally's Astrocade, and the Nintendo Color TV Game 6. And then there was the Atari Video Computer System, also known as the VCS or later the 2600. The Atari VCS would popularize interchangeable cartridges and would go on to make video games go mainstream. The system launched on September 11, 1977 for $199, or $870 in 2021 dollars. 9 titles were available in its first year. I've made it my mission to play every retro video game in order of release over on my main channel, The Spanless Gamer. So there I've already played over 200 Atari games and 200 NES games. So let's take a look at the top 5 Atari 2600 or Atari VCS games of 1977. Number 5, Street Racer. Street Racer, or Speedway 2 on the Sears Telegames, was made by Larry Kaplan, who would go on to found Activision. It featured 27 game variations that included street racing, slalom, dodgem, jet shooter, number cruncher, and scoop ball. The game isn't spectacular with its chunky, flickery graphics and the fact that despite having 6 different types of games, they all kind of feel the same. But the system was new and hard to program for, so with just 9 games in 1977, this takes the 5th spot. Number 4, Surround. Programmed by Alan Miller, also a future founder of Activision, and similar to Snakes, Surround is basically Tron light cycles where from an overhead view you try to surround the opposing block with lines drawn by your block. With 12 game variations available, Surround was a fun 2-player game that tends to get a bit repetitive. It also has the distinction as being the first home game where you could draw a penis on the screen. Number 3, Air-Sea Battle. The second launch game programmed by Larry Kaplan, this was also published as Target Fun by the Sears Telegames system. Air-Sea Battle has 6 basic game types including anti-aircraft, torpedo, shooting gallery, Polaris, bomber, and Polaris versus bomber. While not strictly a 2-player game, you attempt to score the most points possible, but without a player 2, it tends to get dull, so definitely recommended more as a 2-player game. Number 2, Indy 500. Designed by Carla Meninsky and Ed Riddle, Indy 500 is an overhead racing game that, like all these early games, is really more of a 2-player game. While you can play by yourself, you're just sort of, playing by yourself. There's no AI, but there are several tracks, including icy tracks with slippery physics and 3 modes of play, including standard racing, crash, score, and tag. The controls do take some getting used to, but it can be a fun time killer if you have a sibling or a friend with you. Number 1, Combat. Combat was the initial packing game with the VCS and featured a whopping 27 games divided into tank combat, biplane, and jet plane combat. Combat was designed by a small team which included Steve Mayer, Joe DeCure, Larry Kaplan, and Larry Wagner. A strictly 2-player game, this game is sure to make you want to throw your controller at your siblings as you blast ricocheting bullets around corners into each other's tanks. The tank games are slow but make you feel like you are stalking your prey. Biplanes are fun, but the real fast-paced action is found in the jet games. You control your jets and fly past your opponent, shooting at them and trying to avoid getting shot yourself. It's fun and varied and the best Atari game of 1977. If you're just finding this video and haven't seen my main channel, check it out at Spanless Gamer, where I'm reviewing every retro game ever made. This channel will feature videos that don't quite fit into my normal videos, and will feature things like full playthroughs and lists such as this one. Thanks for watching. Please leave a comment with what your favorite game of 1977 was, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next game.